Lotto with the run. I can't wait till later. Gotta get it now. Can't wait another day.
I gotta get it now. I can't wait another day. Ain't nothing given, go and get it. Ain't no other way. Always grinding overtime, I'm always catching plays. I ain't got time to waste, I'm building, trying to set the stage. If I'm gon' buy the block back, then you got rent to pay. Shawty came through, bless the spot, and hit it with some sage. All these blessings got us paid, ain't no minimum wage. Deep in the game, and I'ma win no matter how I play. I'm in the game, I'm the star player. And I'ma win no matter how I play. Deep in the game, I just gotta win. They know I'm dope, I ain't gotta say. Ask about me, I'm the realest in the room. The coldest, one of the illest in the booth. Don't know me now, don't trip, your girl gon' know me soon. Pick out the pound, flow through the ceilings and the roof. I'm in the clouds, I'm somewhere headed to the moon. Mixing and dreading and KK, give me that boost. Show me something, I'm grinding, I got the proof. Hitting figures, they see, think it's true. I gotta get it now, I can't wait another day. Ain't nothing given, go and get it, ain't no other way. Always grinding overtime, I'm always catching plays. I ain't got time to waste, I'm building, trying to set the stage. If I'm gon' buy the block back, then you got rent to pay. Shawty came through, bless the spot, and hit it with some sage. All these blessings got us paid, ain't no minimum wage. Deep in the game, and I'ma win no matter how I play. Yeah. I've been winning for real, been taking gold on them. Continue keeping it real, can't take my soul from me. Kicking that dope, this that shit that had your nose running. Smoke one with me, get you so high, might have your nose bloody. Prices up and when you lit, you get them low numbers. Started with no budget, now my network across the whole country. Pockets on PDs, creatine, they on something. Can't do Virginia Beach no more, I need them foreign summers. Make sure I pack the studio and keep them cameras running. Me and the crew convoying back to back hummus. Gotta get that overseas land, I need that. Me and Vivid dope up next, tag team champ. Don't gotta give me nothing, I'm gon' take it, best believe that. Wax on the blunt, smoking tree sap. Sipping on yak, shorty said you need to relax. Love, you been working so hard, put your seat back. Yeah, I gotta get it now, I can't wait another day. Ain't nothing given, go and get it, ain't no other way. Always grinding overtime, I'm always catching plays. Ain't got no time to waste, I'm building, trying to set the stage. If I'm gon' buy the block back, then you got rent to pay. Shawty came through, bless the spot, and hit it with some sage. All these blessings got us paid, ain't no minimum wage. Deep in the game, and I'ma win no matter how I play.
Cause he want a life, yeah, life, I've been with me and back through the city. I've been going through some things, trying to get my mind right. Push the bucket to the lip, push that bitch into the finish. Gotta get the full control, gotta get my mind right. Yeah, life, I've been with midnight through the city. I've been going through some things, trying to get my mind right. Push the bucket to the lip, push that bitch into the finish. Gotta get the full control, gotta get my mind right. Yeah, flashing on these high beats, she won't stay beside me, even if I'm blinded.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy DMV back with another one. It's Thirsty Thursday, guys. Very, very excited for the show today. I've actually been waiting for it for a couple of weeks now, to be honest with you, because the two guests that I'm going to get on this show today, I've been trying to get them back on the show all year. So I can't wait for Dia to drop in. I believe she said she was going to be a little bit late. So, you know, we're going to wait for Dia. We're also going to talk Cowboys football as well. And my guy, Anthony Dorsett Jr. is going to be in the building. And if you guys aren't familiar with his work, man, he's only, a former NFL player and the son of one of our greatest players in franchise history. So we got to tune in and hear what he has to say, because he's a guy that's had a lot of experience with playoff football. So looking forward to hearing some of his perspective. So let me see who's in the chat. Let's see who's in the chat. But before we do anything else, guys, I just want to let you know some housekeeping rules. So today, since we do have two esteemed guests, super chats will get priority. You know what I mean? So if you have some steaming questions that you just want to ask the guests or whatnot, the best way to really get it read is for you to, offer up a super chat, and we'll definitely get that there. So I also want to let you guys know that the membership of the channel is available. So we have some new members. They joined the other day, but you know what? We're going to celebrate them anyway. So we got Aisha Robertson, who became the first member. Then we got Lola, who's been asking me about the membership for however long. And we got Rhonda, you know what I'm saying? So we have new members. So there is the membership. So I believe there is a link right by the video that says that you can join and become a member. So if you're interested in that, feel free. Also, when you guys see this Q&A pop up, which I think we could probably get some of that stuff now. Let's get some participation. Feel free, to this is the time that I'm probably going to be reading comments and, putting them up there. So, definitely. But yeah, man. And last night I was able to put together the live film session where we broke down the Cowboys not the Cowboys offense, the 49ers offense against, the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. And from what I saw, we saw a lot of execution from that team, but we also saw that there is some predictability with that team. And I dug in and I watched some more film today. I went back and watched the Kansas City game earlier in the year with Jimmy Garoppolo, and I can definitely tell you without a shadow of a doubt that the 49ers they've definitely dialed back their offense quite a bit. With Jimmy Garoppolo, it was a lot more open. It was a lot more NFL type stuff. With Brock Purdy, it's almost resemblant of what you would say a college offense is. So they definitely simplified that offense for Brock Purdy. And if the Cowboys can, slow them up, because, they do have some really good players. So while I say their offense has simplified quite a bit, they have some guys that can't hurt you, with big chunk plays. So please don't take that the wrong way when I say that their offense is simple. But there is some room for the Dallas Cowboys defense to step up in this game. Aisha Morrison, excited to hear from you too. I almost sent you a link, but you're so busy all the time, I don't even know if you're ever going to show up on the show again. But, I still might send you a link anyway, and you can just pop in if you feel like it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, let me text that now. Let me text that now to my girl Aisha out there watching, because I might just have you jump in here and tell me what you saw on the film too, because I know you're a film watcher as well. All right. But, don't make me, crowd. Don't feel like you can't really, say anything in the chat. We got people coming. I just sent the link to Aisha. So if Aisha wants to join, she can join. Let's talk about some of my other findings. So the offensive side of the ball, I was getting in the Chiefs game a little bit. And I do think, although the stats show that they're very good against the run, I think that you can run against the 49ers. The way that their defense is set up, it's pretty simple. It's not anything. They have players, don't get me wrong, but they play a lot of wide nine. In my quick observation of what I watched Seattle run against them a little bit. I was watching the Chiefs, who who really don't run that much, they were able to run against them a little bit as well. I just don't think that teams stick with it. So I think if Dallas decides that they want to stick with it, if they schematically use Dak as a guy in the running game, then they definitely can create some lanes for our runners in this game. Let me see what these comments say right here. DJ Dog says, Eagles, the anointed team. New York Giants, the team everyone thinks is no good. Dallas, the team no one wants to believe in. Niners, the team everyone is picking. And you want to know something crazy? Here's the crazy thing about it. You know, a lot of people have said it. I know Tuck said it. I know he said it on his channel. I know that Patrick No C Walker wrote it. But it's like the roles have reversed. The roles have reversed. So at this point last year, we were a team that was a favorite. We were a contender. And the 49ers were the team that, you know, they got hot going in, but nobody really had faith in Jimmy Garoppolo. And they somehow, some way, they, you know what I'm saying, they punched us in the mouth and they punched Green Bay in the mouth. So the thing about it is they caught us by surprise with it. They can't. When you know the bully is going to throw the first punch, now you're more prepared for it this time. And think about this, right? Because I talked about this on the Pick Six Sports Show last night. Think about this. Like my analogy was Rocky 3. When Rocky 3 got his ass whooped. When Rocky got his ass whooped by Mr. T, what did he do? You know what I'm saying? Life was hard. Life was probably as hard as it's ever been. He had to do some soul searching. Mickey died. You know, he had to deal with the demons of being afraid of you know what I'm saying, having what seemed like, you know, I went up against contenders that weren't real fighters. That's what Dallas did last year. You know, Dallas's record to a lot of people last year, 12-5, was smoke and mirrors because it was like, who did you beat, right? Well, this year, Dallas has a very good record against these playoff teams. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe somebody said we were 7-1 against these teams that are in the playoffs right now. Yeah, Dallas did some soul searching. Dallas went out, found Apollo Creed. You know what I'm saying? They had the pep talk on the beach by their wife. And, you know what I'm saying? Dallas has done some soul searching. Dallas has drafted some guys. They brought in some guys specifically for this moment, for the rematch. Y'all remember when Debo jumped out the damn van and was like, it's the rematch. You know what I'm saying? Like, or you know what I'm saying? It's the rematch. Yeah, definitely. We've been waiting all year for this. We've been waiting all year for this. You know what I'm saying? So it's here now. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely here now. And I'm here for it. I've been waiting for this all year. This is what I've been talking about all year. The regular season was cool. You know what I'm saying? It was cool and all. It was definitely cool, you know, to win games and, you know, to go over my buddy Mark house and kick it with the fellas and stuff like that. But I remember what it was like this time last year. I remember looking at the screen and just thinking, damn, the season's over already. It feels like it just started. You know what I'm saying? It feels like it just started. And it ended like that. We went out like that. I think a lot. See, if I feel like that, I know Dak Prescott feels like that. I know Zeke feels like that. I know Tyron Smith feels like that. I know Zach Martin feels like that. Micah didn't know what he didn't know, but I know Micah feels like that. I know Tank Lawrence feels like that. I know that the core guys from last year's team, this left a salty taste in their mouth. And along the way, we lost some people. We lost some people because the front office and the coaching staff felt like we needed to shed those people in order to become more competitive. While I disagree with some of the guys that they let go, what we can say is up until this point, they're back in the right spot. So maybe those guys were on to something. I still don't agree. but maybe they were on to something. Mike McCarthy knows what he's doing. Mike McCarthy deserves a lot more credit. You know, all year we kept hearing about Sean Payton this, Sean Payton that. The guy lost his starting quarterback for 5 weeks, and here we are. We're in the position for redemption. You know what I'm saying? And if that don't get your blood boiling, stay your ass at home. That's how I feel about it. Stay your ass at home. Because for me, it's two things that I feel right now. I feel at peace. You know what I'm saying? I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous because as a fan, I've been through worse. I've been through the Romo drop snap. I've been through, I think the 2007 season where we were supposed to win it all and we lost to the Giants and got punched in the mouth. I've been through that. I've been through Aaron Rodgers throwing that miracle damn pass and Crosby hitting that field goal of another year in 2016 that we were supposed to win it, that we were favored to win it. I've been through that. If I can go through all of that stuff, trust me, a game in San Francisco is not going to break me. Matter of fact, I remember being 10 years old, when the 49ers beat the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game. I remember being a little boy. I remember going upstairs and crying my eyes out because we lost that game. I remember those things. You know what I'm saying? And this matchup right here with the 49ers, you know, I'm going to ask the panel when they get on, I'm going to ask them if they feel like the rivalry is rekindled. Because, see, this is the second year. And you want to know what happened when we lost to the 49ers then? We went out and we got Dion. We went out and we won the Super Bowl the next year. For the most part, if you look at it, the 49ers and the Cowboys, through their successful years, they've had to go through each other. And I believe that that's being reborn. You know what I'm saying? I really believe that. And it's our turn. In order to have a rivalry, a true rivalry, you got to go back and forth. So it's our turn to shine, man. Definitely our turn to shine, man. What's going on? But let me see who's in the chat, man. Let me see who's in the chat. We got Jason Renfro, my guy Tyrone, Lola, Miss Lola Hot Sauce. We got Michael Rodriguez, DJ Dog, Aisha Morrison, who I sent the link to. We got Queen Bella, Marcus Blackman. Man, I appreciate y'all, you know, tuning in tonight. So, you know, I'll talk about a couple of things before the people get on, before they get on. Let's talk about these games. Let's talk about the playoff picture. And you know, I'll bring this up for them as well. So, the Saturday games are the Jags and the Chiefs at 4:30. And then you got the Giants and the Eagles at 8:15. So the crazy thing about it is the Dallas Cowboys for 2 weeks in a row go into a game knowing their fate, knowing what's ahead of them if they win. So if the Eagles win, they'll know ahead of time that we got to go to Philly for the NFC Championship game. But if the New York Giants win and then Dallas wins, we have an opportunity to host the NFC Championship game. And, man, either way, both ways are going to be super lit, man. Super, super lit, as the young people would say. And then on the Sunday games, you got the Bengals and the Bills. You got the Bengals and the Bills at 3 o'clock. And that right there will hold serve until the Cowboys and the 49ers. They set off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, guys, those are the times for the Eastern Standard Time, by the way. You know, I'm on the East Coast. So if you're on the Central Time, which most of the people are, it'd be an hour behind. But, man, I kind of want to see in the chat, man, the Cowboys and the 49ers, man. You know, leave your vote in the chat. Also, remember, you know what I'm saying, Make sure you like. Let's get this algorithm up a little bit. My guy, Anthony Dorsett Jr. is trying to join. I think he'll be joining a little bit shortly. But is this a rivalry or not, man? You know what I'm saying? Put it in the chat if you think that this San Francisco and Dallas Cowboys, if they rekindled it or not. You know what I'm saying? And I'll throw in a little bit of music while I wait for you guys to kind of tally that up a little bit. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Oh, my guy, Fence Take, CB83. What's going on, my guy? What's up, man? Salute. Hey, bro, you had a successful year with your channel, my guy. Successful year. We win this week, man. I got to get you on next week, man. Make sure, you know what I'm saying, we're in contact because I definitely got to get you on, my guy. I hope we beat the Niners, man. I hope so. What y'all think, man? Cowboys, 49ers, we a rivalry or not? I'll take a little bit of time to read some of the chat right now. Marcus Blackman says sometimes a law, I think saying the laws can be a learning experience. Maybe we'll be better this time around. I hope so. DJ Dog says, as a little kid, I remember the catch, but I also remember Harper catching that slant also. Yeah. See, remember the catch, but you also got to remember some get back too. So that has to be part of the rivalry, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, we talking about pain a little bit. I definitely remember DeMarco Murray fumbling that ball. Definitely remember that. Fence Takes is definitely a rivalry. Y'all gotta be a little bit more consistent with y'all there for sure. Yeah, definitely. All right. So let me turn down the music a little bit because I have an esteemed guest here. I have an esteemed guest in the green room. I don't know if I have much of a green room, but you know, we're gonna try and make it do what it do. Miss Dia Wall, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, finally got you. Look, I was telling everybody, I was like, look, I've been chasing Dia all year. You know what I'm saying? All year.
My schedule is insane. And I think part of the reason I'm able to join is because I'm actually in Cincinnati doing some training for the day job at our corporate headquarters here. And so we already had like our team dinner and everything else. So I rushed back to make sure I could connect with you. So what's up?
Nothing much. So like we was talking about, so earlier on we were talking about the playoff picture, and you know I could talk about the the Saturday games that we got, the Jags and the Chiefs. So are you getting back home for the Chiefs game?
You know, it's funny you say that. I literally land in Kansas City at the airport at 10:20. I have a call time Saturday at 10 a.m. So life is fast and furious. Yeah, I'm gonna land back home in KC late Friday night. Go home, drop my suitcase, kiss my darling husband who's been with our kids for the past 2 days, holding it down by himself.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Make sure you do that first.
Listen. And then I'll be like rushing out the door Saturday morning. He's probably going to have coffee for me and say, have a good show, And so, yeah, it's just busy, man. It's that time of year. And like right now on the main job, Kansas City is just like popping right now. I mean, we have a new airport terminal opening in a few weeks. That's a huge story. Biggest infrastructure project in city history. Big 12 championships a few weeks after that. Then the NFL draft is coming in April. Like it is just nonstop for me until May.
Yeah. But I'm sorry to say that your TCU team lost the national championship.
They lost what?
The national championship. They got there. You know what I'm saying?
So for me, like TCU is not a blue blood. So for me, just the experience and the ride of seeing my small private college from Fort Worth, Texas, go all the way to the national championship in our head coach's first year.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they got toe down. Okay. And people were mad at Georgia. I'm like, they put the backups in. What you want them to do? Like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's all good fun. It's all in competition. But I do think, yes, we lost the championship, but we made one hell of a case for an expanded college football playoff. And so I'm insanely proud of the Horned Frogs. I can't wait to hug Quentin and Max Duggan and Casey and be like, frogs up, baby. You know what I'm saying? Y'all did us right. You know, you did us proud. So
Point being, you've had a busy.
These are young men. These are young men out chasing their dreams, right? And so, yeah, the outcome wasn't what we wanted in the end. But I'm going to tell you one thing you can't say about TCU. We traveled. That playoff game, we were deep at the Fiesta Bowl. We were deep at the national championship. And for it to be a university, when I graduated, enrollment was 8,500, and that included the grad school. And it's not that much bigger today. It's like 8, 9, 10,000, and that includes grad students. And so I'm just insanely proud of my TCU family, our alumni base, our fans, our coaching staff, honestly, our athletic director too. Because right now, I don't know if you notice, our men's basketball program is ranked and balling. So we're a small school, man, and we just been holding it down. So it's not going to steal my joy.
Well, yeah. It's been so busy for you, I guess, with them being good, with the Chiefs obviously doing what they do, with the Cowboys, you know what I mean? I actually have somebody in the green room who is royalty of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So I got my guy AD. He popped up. Got my guy AD. He's here. You know, finally. I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to meet.
No,
I have never met her. I'm sorry.
No, but I met your dad, who's wonderful. I actually have a great picture with the Tony Dorsett when Texas Stadium. You remember like the last season. So that was my first season working for the Cowboys, and they invited all the big alumni players. I'm sure you remember that.
Oh yeah.
They had all kind of receptions and stuff. And like I was on the field and it's like sensory overload because you see all the legends, you know, and you know your dad, he is so friendly and so affable. Like we had a really good time. So yeah. One of my photos.
I tell people all the time, people are always like, man, I saw your dad somewhere. I'm like, well, did you say anything? They're like, nah, I ain't say nothing. I'm like, just say something to him. I'm like, you know, just don't stay in there and stare and just go ahead and introduce yourself or whatever.
Yeah, he loves it too.
Yeah, he is that kind of guy.
Yeah, good people.
Yeah, my dad met him, I think, because I don't know if he was out here for something. I forget what it was. My dad has 2 autographed footballs from him. I don't know how he got them, but he got them from me, and I'm very, very thankful. So I'm gonna hold on to them as long as as long as I live, and I'm gonna pass them on to my son too. So
definitely, that's awesome.
So we were talking about the playoff picture. We got the Jags and the Chiefs at 4:30 on Saturday. Dia's gonna fly out there and be at the game.
Yep.
And the Giants and Eagles at 8:15. That
Go
night.
Giants.
Yeah.
I've never said that a day in my life.
Hey, that's going to be a good game. These playoffs are turning out to look like they're real interesting this year.
Yeah, I feel like it's wide open.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the momentum that New York is rolling with right now. I mean, Philly's a hard team to get down with, and if Hurts is 100% healthy, you know, it's going to be something, you know, because they can.
Is he 100% healthy?
Exactly, that's the question. That's the question. And with the pressure that New York can actually put on him, it can be a long day. And I don't think he wants to take that many hits coming back from a shoulder injury like that.
Yeah, definitely. So from both of you guys, because I can ask you guys this, like Dia, you actually covering the team, and you know, AD, you having some deep playoff runs, man. Can you guys, I'll start with AD first. You know, tell us like your perspective of what playoff football is like from your vantage point, like when you were actually deep in the weeds.
Oh man, so you know, like before I actually got into playoff experience, you always hear the rumor or like the word buzzing around the locker room that hey, playoff football it's about to get way live, or trust me, like that. And like I'm like, what do you mean? It's like the game is going to speed up like 5 to 10 times. I'm like, what? So you know, like that for me and for a lot of players, the transition from college to the league is more or less the mental aspect of the time and the speed of the game. just how fast things transition. So going into that playoff run and like these guys going through it too as well, it happens fast. Like, I mean, everything happens fast. And of course, the thing about the playoffs is, you do or you don't. You either make it or you won't. So like, with these games being like one and done, everybody's coming in there and, it increases like the level of intensity. Every play, every rep is that much more meaningful. And without it even having to be said, like the I guess you would say the approach to the game. Oh my goodness, that playoff week, and I've been part of a wild card run too as well. And so the momentum that builds with that, is something totally different also. So yeah, this for all these guys, I mean, this is an incredible ride right here, an incredible ride.
And Dia, you've been on the other side of that. Like you've been. Unfortunately, we work with Dallas. It was just so much disappointment. Like, can you talk about that?
It's so funny, right? Because we have the biggest fan base,
Uh-huh.
bar none. And I mean, I'm diehard, man. I was born and raised Cowboys fan, and I think I remember winning the Super Bowl. Like, I remember the triplets. My dad's favorite player is Michael Irvin. Y'all, I done won all kind of awards for my journalism, for my work. My daddy, to this day, you remember when you sat down with the playmaker? I'm like, Daddy, yes, and so I think it's twofold. I wasn't working for a team and I was a kid, but I just remember like the pride, like, and the memories. I'm the only girl. I have all brothers. So my brothers was rocking with me when I was watching the game. Like, that was when I got to spend the most time with them. And I think that's part of why I'm just such a football fanatic now. Then went to school. I interned in news and sports because I've always loved sports and grew up loving Pam Oliver for obvious reasons. You see a sister on the sideline. And then when I was in college, interning in the locker room, I'm going to tell you one thing about Pam. When I was working for the Cowboys right out of school, when Pam walked in, joke straightened up. It was Miss Pam to them, right? They just approached her with a certain level of professionalism and respect for, who she was. And I admired that, right? I was like, man, I want to command that kind of respect. I want people to like straighten up, And I think when I started working for the team, we had a lot of talent, right? There was like the days where you had T.O. and then we got Roy Williams. Then you had D-Ware in the locker room, who I got to see not that long ago when I went to the game against the Texans, And they like, little Dia? I'm like, look, we grown. Now I'm old. I got a mortgage and kids, bro, But like, I really grew up at what was Valley Ranch. They got the Star now, but back in the Gap, I was at Valley Ranch. And so there was just this sense of competition. And always wanting to be the best and always trying to improve. The biggest thing was we had flashes on defense. We didn't have a dominant defense. And that ultimately ended up kind of being the Achilles heel for that like outstanding team we had in 2007. I know y'all remember. And we felt like we could go all the way. And then it's just like the emotional highs and lows you go through as a fan, period, but especially as a Cowboys fan. And then, when I left the team after 3 seasons, go work. I'm still a Cowboys fan. We had a couple lean years. Let's keep it 100. And so now when you get back and you see like this talent, there's a split in the fan base. There are the fans who say, enjoy the ride, no matter how it ends. But then there's people like me. I'm not ashamed to say, y'all, I done cried when the season done came to a close. Like, no. If we didn't win, Monday was terrible, And so now I think the difference, to your point, when you talk about like the atmosphere, when you're in the building, it's like everybody's holding their breath, right? Everybody is like all in. You want to edit the best possible hype video you can. You want to put out the best content you possibly can. You want to make sure that you're representing and reflecting the best of the team in their run, because you never know if this run is the run. Now, as a journalist, when I'm covering it, coming to Kansas City was hard. And the reason it was hard was because they had, what's his name? Gosh, Alex Smith. Legend. Nothing but respect for him. It ain't a lot of quarterbacks in the tail end of their career who gonna look at Patrick Mahomes drafted in the first round knowing he the future and take him under his wing. So I have the utmost respect and honor for a man like that. And very quickly, the Chiefs all of a sudden are like a thing. And so when people like to give me shiz about being a Cowboys fan, y'all ain't won in 26 years. I said, y'all didn't win for 50 and nobody cared. Putting that out there.
You were saving that, but you were saving that comeback. You were saving that, huh?
Yeah, but I will tell you, I live in Kansas City, right? And y'all know what a winning team does for a community, for the businesses, for the morale, for the camaraderie. I will never root against the Chiefs unless they lined up across from a star. They already know what it is in Kansas City, okay? But I think when you say me on the other side, I followed another community and another team's unlikely, long overdue run for the championship. It was so bittersweet, y'all. Because I'm thrilled, right? They waited 50 years for this. But at the same time, I'm like, damn it. Come on, Jerry. We need some pieces. We got to do what we got to do to get here, man. This hurts, because I want to feel that. And I think as much as I celebrate my community getting to the summit and getting to the mountaintop, for me, I am the reserve fan, y'all. I'm the one that's like, I got to protect my heart because I be crying real like when they won that game, I was at work Monday, and with the Cowboys, you could tell now by the end of the third possession, you could tell what we gonna do. Dak was out. I said, my man is still in it tonight. I literally, before the game even started, they said, Dia, how you feeling? I said, this is the day the curse is broken. This is the day the curse is broken. I just felt it. And it's hard. But what I will say, like I was telling you at TCU, we got to enjoy the ride, y'all. And we got to, this is what makes football unlike any other sport. Basketball, the best team doesn't always win the championship. Football, sometimes the best team doesn't always win the championship. But like to see our team go out there on the road against the GOAT, ain't nobody disputing that. And they really like shrunk that man all the way down. It was so bad, people was tweeting sympathy for Tom Brady. I just was so damn proud, y'all. I was at work, like when I came down to the newsroom, they started playing, hold up. We didn't more. Because they know my love runs deep, So I think when you're in the locker room as a part of the team, you kind of hold your breath and you want it so bad and you want to push and you want to fight, right? As a fan, I think you want it the same way. Being in a different community and seeing them reach that, it just makes me want it that much more. That was a really long answer, but y'all, I've been going through.
Well, hey, look, I love the answer, and it actually segued into like what your initial thoughts were about the Cowboys, beating the Bucs, because I did have that as a a topic. AD, man, how did you feel about that game when you were watching it, and like what did you think?
Man, I, like going into the game, it was funny because everyone, everywhere I was going, people were asking, what do you think about the game? Who has a better team? I'm like, the Cowboys got the better team. And I knew that as long as they pressured Tom is not the same young Tom anymore. Like he used to be able to sit back there in the pocket and take the hits. But like right now, he's a liability to himself right now, and and I mean, it was one of those things where going into the game, I knew if they applied the pressure like they did, that it was going to be a long day for him. So, I was honestly excited for the Cowboys going into this game. I didn't think at all that San Francisco was going to come out there with and is the last two times they played each other, even though they split, it was a split, right? The Cowboys won the first game that the year they played in Tampa, and then last year in Tampa beat the Cowboys, right? Both games been close games. They've been good games, but just with the way Michael Parsons been playing. And look, I got faith in Dak, you know what I mean? And I think people forgot that he can actually run the ball, because he hasn't been healthy enough to actually do it. He had to modify his game so he got healthy, but you can tell right now Dak is healthy physically and mentally. So that was an awesome game. And this week is going to be this is going to be another good one. But this is like that old school. Like I remember these games, like from not only from the triplets, but from my dad played these games and all that. This is true nostalgia right here. This is like old school football that I remember. These games used to be some good games too.
Definitely. So
I agree.
We'll do some housekeeping for the channel. What's up to my guy Vosh Lombardi? He's over at the Volume. If you guys, check out his show. He's doing this thing
and follow him on Twitter too. He's spicy.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you haven't heard the show, oh my God, it's probably one of the best shows on. Yeah, it's like that. So go check his show out. We also got a few new members. We got Mary Alvarez who just joined, became a member. Appreciate you. Thank you. And then my guy DMV Trucker. My guy I used to play with. He was on my football team back in the day. So he became a YouTube member. So appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you. And so we're going to segue into the Sunday night game or Sunday games. And we got the Bengals and the Bills. And that one's going to be a very, very emotional game. They didn't get to finish that first one. So, we could probably spend all night talking about what happened in that game. But, I guess I'll start with AD. What were your thoughts when DeMar Hamlin went down and how emotional, if you could put yourself in the footprints of those players or whatnot, or how would you, approach this game?
Well, watching that game, I was watching that game with my son, and we were sitting there, and then of course when everything happened, the look that I saw on everybody's faces, and I'm sitting here and I got emotional watching the game. My son was like, "Daddy, what's wrong?" And I'm like, "Whatever's going on, I could tell by their faces it ain't right." And then then later as the commentary started coming in about they were actually doing CPR in the field, and that in itself, I called my dad. I'm like, "Yo, you ever seen anybody get CPR done in the field?" He's like, "No, nobody I talked to had ever seen that." So to actually be able to feel where these dudes were going and see Dia, Dia, you were talking about Pam earlier, and Pam has been doing it a while. She was actually doing it when I was playing. And my cousin is Lisa Salter, so Lisa was working that game that night.
Listen, she showed you right there what a real journalist can do for you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, AD.
Yo, so no problem at all. And so I hit her up. I'm like, they ain't going back out there to play. You know what I mean? Them boys are trying to figure out how they gonna get to the hospital. Whatever's going on, you know what I mean? So just that whole ride, but to see to know where me as a player, Dia as a journalist, we can't even begin to imagine where they gonna go back to when this game starts up. Like you said, the last one wasn't finished, but just the atmosphere between these two teams now and where they were together, because when that game ended, they weren't two teams no more. They were one. You know what I mean? Everybody was you know what I mean? So it's going to be something. This is going to be an emotional game on a couple different levels. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's still going to be playoff football, and these boys going to go out there and they're going to try to figure out a way. And I know Buffalo wants to try to do definitely try to finish the job for DeMar. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my University of Pittsburgh homie. You know what I'm saying? So glad to hear that he's doing well. You know what I mean? And but at the same time, I'm sorry, Buffalo and help me remember.
Cincinnati.
I'm sorry, Cincinnati. And I know that Joe Burrow, you know what I mean? Joe Burrow right now, he got that look in his eyes. You know what I mean? And Cincinnati got some unfinished business, and I like the way they've been playing. So this game is going to be a heavy game on several levels.
That game is so funny. You mentioned that the day it happened, when I was watching the game, I literally tweeted, Lisa Salters is the epitome of grace, professionalism, and comfort in a time when this country needs it. Yeah. And for people who may be listening in who aspire to, be on TV or be in sports journalism, right? You could tell that night the journalists from the personalities, because the personalities didn't know what the hell to say or what the hell to do, right? Yeah. And Lisa started, when her voice started, I said, oh, shoot. And when I tell you, when you look at somebody who is the longest tenured reporter on Monday Night Football, longest tenured, when she is trying to compose herself, that's when you know it's serious. And it doesn't require her to do a whole bunch of extra, right?
Right.
And just see her conveying the emotion that she's feeling on the field. That was when I was like, okay, but you know what? I have to commend the coaches. The coach of the Bengals was the one who went to the locker room, the Bills locker room, and said, we ain't playing this game. Right. And I think that was really important for them to draw a line in the sand and be like, yo, we calling it. I think it's going to be a good matchup. Y'all, the AFC looks wide open. And there's a lot of good football being played. And it's really anybody's guess. I mean, if you ask me, in my unbiased opinion, your top 3 quarterbacks in the league are Mahomes, Allen, Burrow. Little bit of a gap because the next set ain't proven, right? That's where your Dax, your Trevor Lawrences, your Lamar Jacksons, your Justin Herberts. But I think so much of it is like you got to get there. And that's what I want for Dak. Like AD, man, I've been a believer in Dak from day one. And I think he has not yet been fully healthy. Seeing him, the biggest encouragement for me when they were playing the Bucs was seeing him command the line of scrimmage again.
Yeah.
He was out there like, hey. I was like, oh, Dak about to cook,
Yeah. That's what I could tell about his mental too. Like I could tell from the command that he had,
absolutely,
that he was somewhere that he hadn't been in those other games. Like so, whatever it was going on with the interceptions or whatever, he was over. I could tell. Sorry to cut you off. Sorry.
And I also think he knows if there was one season, like the year the Chiefs won it all, I knew they would win it all. They started ramping up. That's the key. You got to play your best ball at the end of the season going into the playoffs. You shouldn't peak in week 10. You got to peak at the back half of the season. We all remember when the Giants went, 9-7 and won the Super Bowl? They hit their peak late in the season. And so in my adult life, I have not seen the Cowboys play their best game week 1 of the playoffs in my whole adult life. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so that in and of itself gives me encouragement. Do the 49ers look good? Absolutely. But the Seahawks were competitive early. And I think if the Cowboys keep that game close, Dak is obviously better than Geno. Okay, we not. The Cowboys have a formidable offense. And so I think if Kellen stayed true to his interview form of play calling and they get their butts out there and they let Dak do what he do, I think we have a really good shot at this game. And there's nobody left in the NFC that terrifies me. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like if the Cowboys go out there and play their best ball, we can do this, man.
Yeah. I mean, I've been kind of thinking that. I've been kind of thinking that the whole time. I've been thinking that even after the Washington game, kind of. I knew that we were turning on a little bit. I went to the Washington game. It was pretty ugly, but you could kind of tell that they were just interested in playing that game. They didn't really want to be out there. It was cold. The air was dry. I mean, it's my team, so I got to go see them play. But I wish I'd have just stayed out in the parking lot with all the bratwursts and stuff out there because they played like they wish they was out there. So
they had me kind of concerned for a while. I couldn't tell what was going on. And with the turnovers, it really doesn't matter. Like they could have went in that game and played that same type of game they played the other day, but with some turnovers involved in there, it really wouldn't have mattered. You know what I mean? So the fact that they came out and they played the way that they did, and you're exactly right there to turn it on late. You definitely want to try to peak late, or you want to try to get that momentum late anyway.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that being said, like I said, Dak looked healthier than he has in months. You know what I mean? Tony Pollard, explosive. You know what I mean? And the Cowboys, they got a matchup problem for some teams. They got 2 solid tight ends. That running back combination is dangerous. And that receiving core, you can sleep on him if you want to. But CD is actually coming up. He's trying to make a name for himself. He already has.
He quietly went all pro.
Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, proud of
quietly.
that. Yeah, you know what I mean? And with everything that they were saying about Dak, too, he still got it there. So, this is a dangerous game for the 49ers. They're going to have to be on their toes, seriously.
You know who else? Gallup, my tough catch king. That brother along a sideline is lethal. I mean, you can always count on him, right? T.Y. got some crucial passes in 2 games. You know what I'm saying? It's helped open things up.
Gallup made some catches in that game. And I've been critical of him throughout the year. Not critical of him, but I thought it came back too soon. I thought they rushed him back, and the jump balls and stuff like that. I still don't think he can really get up there like he really wants to. But they got back to giving him the slant. That's probably the best thing that he can do on the field. And they were throwing them slants and getting them in that area. And you know what I'm saying? He kind of cut up Tampa Bay a little bit. So I was glad to see him have some success.
Hey, Dia, you brought up a name that is like, I think is very crucial at this time. T.Y. Hilton. He had the Super Bowl with the Colts, right? Did they win the Super Bowl while he was there?
I think he was. I thought he was after.
No, I don't know.
I can't remember. But I know he has some playoff experience.
He's had some playoff experience. Yeah, he was with Andrew Luck, so I don't think that they won with him. But they've had some playoff success though.
Exactly.
In the comments, DMV Trucker and Samuel, why y'all got the smoke for Michael Gallup? This brother had an ACL. Look, and honestly, I always go back to when we get into the debate about Zeke and Tony Pollard. You need both, right? I always go back to that series where they had the Pollard that got him all the way down the field. They got the goal line play. They give him 2 plays back to back. He can't punch it in. Zeke come in and walk in there like he going to the grocery store. And so they're different tools, right?
Yeah.
So CD, yes, he's going to make some of those tough, deep catches through the middle. And I like you. I do like Gallup in the slant. But, boy, when you need a fade to the end zone and it's tight, Gallup going to bring that shit in both just every time. Just you can count on him. He's so aware of his positioning on the field. I just think, y'all, we needed to give him a little more time on that ACL.
Agreed. But again, we got to go back, Dia, to why we have to rush him back. Me and you were big on the Amari train. Big time.
I love Amari Cooper. Oh my God. I did. And I felt like I never want personal stuff to get in the way of winning games.
But there were times when Cooper was here that Gallup did look like the number one. You know what I mean? There were times where like he truly did. But Coop went out in Cleveland. He balled out this year.
He did.
Yeah. So whatever was going on, he put it behind him. He put up some numbers this past season.
Queen, I can't talk about Noah Brown. I don't know why they keep trying to make this man.
It's like Mean Girls. Like, why y'all keep trying to make Fat Chap?
I'm telling you, I will say though, the smartest thing, my forever quarterback, Troy Aikman, who I love, when he was on First Take, basically came out and was like, defense wins championships, but quarterbacks win Super Bowls. And so the best thing I saw was Dak Prescott, 100%. And
definitely.
Command.
So we got the 49ers this week. And, to me, it feels like this playoffs is more 90s. It's been a lot of 90s retro stuff, just period. Like you hear music, they're sampling a lot of 90s stuff. You see clothing, it's a lot of 90s stuff. But this is probably like it just seems 90s. You got the Eagles and the Giants over there. And then you got the Cowboys and the 49ers. And it just seemed like when both of those teams, the Cowboys and the 49ers, have had success, they've had to go through each other. So does this feel like a rivalry, like it's rekindled to you guys? Or do you guys feel like Dallas needs to win this one in order for it to be, back to what it was?
Good.
They got to win.
Yeah.
Here's still, the wild card was one thing. But Tampa Bay was below 500 and all this other stuff. I've said all season. I said all last season. My bar is NFC Championship. That's my bar. And I don't think as a fan base, although everybody else has talked about like they can't win a playoff game. I knew that mess wasn't true. What I want to see though is my team competitive down the stretch. I want to see the Cowboys relevant through January. And the reason why I say my bar is the NFC Championship is because we are more than capable. Yes, the Niners have a crazy defense, but so do the Cowboys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they talk about like the physicality aspect. I don't deny that. I mean, all of those things can be true, but for me, what I go to is I don't see a single team and automatically say the Cowboys are outgunned or outmatched or can't compete.
Gotcha.
It's a matter of us controlling us and us showing up. And so the bar for me is the NFC Championship, y'all. Because here's the deal. I really do feel like, and y'all can bookmark this, the Cowboys beat the Niners this weekend, we going to the ship. I'll call that right now. I really think this game did a lot for Dak's confidence. I think it did a lot to reinvigorate Dan Quinn, who I think the game plan had gotten a little stale down the back half of the season. And I think bringing that cover 2, look, we had a whole different package we were rolling with. And Vander Izzy. So I just feel like we're getting healthy at the right time on both sides of the ball. I feel like our play calling and our defensive scheming, A1 in Tampa Bay. And so all it is the mental. So if McCarthy and the leaders on that team got them boys ready to go out there and ball, we going to the ship. You can't tell me otherwise. And I'm not the optimistic we going to the Super Bowl every year fan. But I'm just telling y'all, if there is a year where the Lombardi is literally wide open on a silver platter, this is it.
Yeah.
Every team left has vulnerabilities.
As a player, I know those guys right now, what they're going through is like, I mean, they have no doubt in their mind that they can get to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And so the matchup, they ain't worried about the matchup right now, you know. And as far as that stuff goes, like they're going to be more than ready to play. You know, like I said, we made it as a wild card team, you know, when I was with the Titans. And so it was like that momentum and just that feel of it to go in there and to keep winning games on the road, at home, wherever you got to do it at, you know, and just the focus. So I know without a shadow of a doubt, you know, like, and just like you said, the invigoration that this has given the whole coaching staff, you know what I mean? And not only that, like the guys, you know, so these boys, they're ready to play. And you can see, I know everybody recognized from offense to defense last week, there was a level of intensity that hadn't been there the past few weeks. You know, so people ain't going to be worried about, guys like Micah, he ain't going to be worried about you. Micah could have rushed the quarterback every single defensive snap last week. You think he would have cared? You know what I mean? So, like, at this point here, these guys, they're so clued in on what they got to do and how they need to do it. Now it's just like staying together as a team. Don't do nothing crazy. You know what I mean? Don't try to make make the plays you're supposed to make. Don't gamble. This is you know what I mean? And so, you know, as a team and as they played last week, it looked very tight and real cohesive. You know what I mean? So, you know, like I said, the Cowboys, they're dangerous right now. They truly are dangerous right now. You know what I mean?
Ooh, y'all, I'm going to cut up.
Yeah.
If we miss a wrap.
Yo,
go ahead.
Listen, so like I'm telling you, if they make it to that championship game, I like you can't tell me, you wouldn't be able to tell me that they can't make it to the Super Bowl.
Agreed.
You would not be able to tell me. Because the momentum will be as long as everybody stays healthy, the momentum itself will help propel them to that next level. So this is going to be crazy.
I know.
Bro, I need you to understand the levels I'm about to cut up at. Okay? Like, I might live stream getting the Cowboy star tattooed on my face. No, not my face. Somewhere. I think we as a fan base deserve it. And I talked about it last season, the way the season ended was so disappointing. And I just remember feeling like we are the most loyal fan base.
Mm-hmm.
We Cowboys fans take more crap than anybody. And we
get more attention than anybody, though. I mean, like y'all, you know, like I mean, not to be hating or nothing, but like y'all really ain't been relevant to be relevant. You know what I mean? So I mean, Jerry Jones, hey, ultimate businessman.
Yeah.
You know, as far as that goes, and just being able to keep the brand, you know, in itself, even when the games weren't as going as good as they are now, the brand was always, you know, one of the top brands. So that being said, you know, that's why the Cowboy fans get so much flack all the time and everything else like that. But, you know, now, hey, the Cowboys are earning everything that they're getting right now.
I like that. That's it. Earning. You know what I'm saying?
So nobody expected New York to do what they did. Nobody expected Philly to have the season that they had. You know, so structurally, like what the Cowboys are doing right now, and to beat Tom Brady the way that they did, yeah, they trying to show something, and I see it.
So I got to segue to my hot seat questions because, national media. My first question or my first, topic is something that I saw, and it was kind of crazy today because, Dallas is always talked about in the media. So they put up Brock Purdy versus Dak Prescott. And so I want to ask you guys who has the edge with that one because they picked Brock Purdy. All right. So I'm gonna start with AD on that one, and then I'm looking at Dia's face, so I gotta save it for last.
I'm impressed with Brock Purdy is doing. I really am. You know what I mean? But and I think at some point in time, you can say what you want to say, but there's going to be a point in time where the stage is going to get too big. And I honestly feel like with all the success he's had up until this point, I don't believe he's going to outplay Dak at all. So no, I don't see that happening. So on that question, I'm definitely going all the way with Dak. I'm going with the Cowboys offense on that. Like I said, Brock Purdy he's played his butt off until this point. You know what I mean? But he's also had some mistakes where that defense has kept him in games. So that being said, if it comes down to those two, Dak, come on, man. That's crazy. I think, Dia, what do you think?
Same as you. Next question. It ain't even nothing else to say. Bruh.
All right. This won't be a lot closer, but who has the edge in coaching, head coaches, head-to-head? Mike McCarthy, Kyle Shanahan.
Come on. I would have to say Coach Mike McCarthy does. You know what I'm saying? I think his record speaks for itself, too, as well. But yeah, I would go with Coach Mike, and he's shout out to another University of Pittsburgh guy. Yeah, no. Kyle Shanahan he's been, as far as creative and everything that he's done. But what Coach Mike has done as far as within Green Bay, you take his resume from there and you bring it to what he's been able to do here. And, all he's been able to do is take the Cowboys to the playoffs, and he still talk about his job. Finally, you know what I'm saying? You didn't hear nothing about his job after last week's game for like one of the first times. But no, I'm riding with Coach Mike in as far as being a better coach in this situation. I'm more prepared for this game.
I would have to agree with that. And more so from the standpoint of, for all the people talking about the job, one of my favorites who a player when I worked for the team, Marcus Spears, said, my man that had 2 back-to-back 12-win seasons, took his team to the playoffs. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Mike.
So wait, because last time he was on the show, you were talking Sean Payton. So
absolutely. Look, here's the deal, though. There comes a point where you have to look up and you got to say, I was beyond furious with the last play of the season last year. Like, beyond. Like,
that's understood.
At the TV. Because for me, that shows a lack of coaching and a lack of preparation. Because your team was not ready. And that, at the NFL level, to me, was unacceptable. The other thing, I'm not a fan of some of the eccentric watermelon smashing and mojo and all that foolishness, right? But the other piece for me, they've played cleaner football. They've played more disciplined football. And again, the record doesn't lie. They done been in the playoffs back-to-back seasons. They just won the first road playoff game in 30 years. So while at that moment, yeah, I was like, if we can get Sean Payton, boot him. But at some point, you have to look at the man's record and you got to say, you know what? Give credit where credit is due. He got him playing at a high level. Let's call it good.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Sean Payton is an amazing coach. His creativity speaks for itself. I mean, just watching his games, you don't even have to talk about his play calling. You could just, just watch the games. You already know what kind of creative genius he is as far as what that goes. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it right now. And Coach Mike he's came here, he's listened to the talk, like you said, he's walked the walk, And I think that people get caught up in thinking that finding a good coach is easy. I mean, granted, the brand is what it is, and Sean Payton is always I think he's had some interest in being with the Cowboys. But like, there ain't another team out there that could be like, oh yeah, we just want to get rid of our 12-winning coach and Sean Payton gonna be interested in this. Nah, it doesn't happen like that all the time. So, the Cowboys are very fortunate, that Mike has come in here and actually been able to do what he's done, in such a short amount of time as well. He's been quite a success.
Through COVID.
Amen.
Yeah. And I also think a big part of this too is somebody that I'm not going to add in the hot seat question, but Mike McCarthy's staff, I think, has the edge, with Dan Quinn, being there. Mike McCarthy being able to make decisions is going to be the wild card in that, because Kyle Shanahan is going to have to handle the offense and making those decisions. So I think Mike McCarthy, in allowing Kellen Moore to do his thing a little bit, helping him, the decision making in this game is going to matter. The adjustments is going to matter. Coaching is going to matter in this game. So I agree with you guys about Mike McCarthy. And I'm going to go with some of my younger coaches in this matchup too. Kellen Moore versus DeMeco Ryans. Who do you guys think has the matchup here? Kellen Moore with the bells and whistles, DeMeco Ryan with the simple scheme, but the really, really solid defense.
Go ahead, Dia.
For me, this one's tough. It depends on what game. Kellen Moore called the game of his life in Tampa. And so for me, my greatest challenge has been consistency.
Man.
Cowboys. And I don't mean calling the same plays, but what I mean is there have been times where we doing stuff and I'm like, what the hell are we really trying to run a reverse in this year's NFL? Why do we keep trying to put CD? Look. But I will tell you, the creativity of the play where they go out wide and you see Dak in front, but really it's Pollard. I was like, oh shit, ow. A penalty called it back. Thank God we didn't need it. But I think we put in the right wrinkles. It didn't feel foolish. It didn't feel overly risky. Man, when I tell you, when we saw the fake, boy, even the NFL cameras moved. And then you see Dak cruising right on into the end zone. I'm like, where has this play design been the last 8 weeks? And so, sadly, I'm going to have to give it to DeMeco Ryans. I feel like you're right. They are more simple, but they are consistent in what they do. You don't necessarily know what the call is going to be or how they're going to line up, but what you do know is their approach to the game. And I think that's why I would have to give the edge to the Niners.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Dia. I thought Kellen got pretty boring. He in the beginning of the season, he had a few flashes here where, you saw some creativity, but then the season, the play calling got dull. And then, I understand we had to go to Cooper and everything else like that was going on, but it was still even with Dak. But then now seeing Dak last week, I put some of that on the simple fact that Dak probably wasn't as healthy as he is now too as well.
True.
You know what I mean? But one thing about, what you mentioned about, with DeMeco and the 49ers is this, getting creative and trying to come up with a scheme to trick a defense. You don't get a chance to rep everything like you want to. And the more repetition you get at something, of course, the better you get at it. Now, regardless of what the Cowboys line up in, the 49ers are going to play their defense. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. It's going to be, they're going to have to match up, of course, but they're going to rep the same defense that they've been repping all year and through these last few playoff games too as well. So that being said, they definitely have the upper hand as far as with their preparation to it, and just the simple fact that they're just going to be more familiar and more comfortable with what they're doing. You know what I mean? Just like I said, for the Cowboys to get creative, they're going to have to throw some different wrinkles in there, something that they probably haven't used or probably haven't done since several weeks before, or even this season at all. So, that can cause some confusion and a little bit of, with the fall off in your preparation for as far as being prepared to run the same play over and over.
They got to spread them out. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, and they're gonna have to do something. You know what I mean? Like I said,
Dak using his legs, I think, is going to be a big wild card in this game as well. I'm using the word wild card because we just got past all of that. But I think Dak being able to keep them honest, some of those defensive ends in that run scheme, could definitely help Pollard get up underneath that edge a little bit. So.
Yeah, Pollard is a mismatch, but just like Pollard is a mismatch, so is Christian McCaffrey on the other side.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I got so much new respect for him this year. Actually, seeing him in a different market and being able to see more games and seeing how truly
That's why we need LVE.
Whew.
Yeah. Him versus LVE is going to be a matchup here, and I think with the Cowboys having Hankins keeping them clean a little bit, we've seen a better version of him personally.
Yeah.
So I got one last question for the hot seat, and then we're gonna bring this thing on home a little bit. So Brett Maher missed 4 extra points in this game. So I'm gonna ask you guys. I mean, because I know that they brought in a practice squad kicker. I'll start with AD. How would you handle the situation? I know you.
Dude, like in the locker room, it's one of them things where, of course, like we win together, we lose together. But don't think that like it don't go down in the locker room with the kicker, people saying anything or anything else like that. So for me, after the second one, I would start going for 2. I probably would have taken it out of his hands. You know what I mean? But once again, I played with a guy named Sebastian Janikowski, right? So if Seabass missed 4 field goals in the game, it wasn't gonna be too many people in the locker room that's gonna run up on big ass Seabass. You know what I mean? I seen him beat up a linebacker one time. Right? Yeah. So, but being honest with you, that right there, I thought he was in on cheating on the game or something when that was going on. I was like, oh man, he done took the money. Like this is
No.
I say Vegas called.
I was like, he's going the game. Like I had never seen that before, but honestly, like at that point in time, like I said, after the second one, I probably would have just started going for 2. And then the way that they were moving the ball anyway, they couldn't stop him. So
I think they did the right thing. Now, it's easy to say because they won. I think they did the right thing. Maher been clutch. He missed more kicks in that game than he done missed all season. It's the reason why he called Money Maher in these streets, right? I think they kept letting him kick because they know they're going to need his ass this week. And, yeah, you can bring somebody on the practice squad, but anybody available ain't reliable. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna look up on no golden foot this late in the season.
On the sideline, they going to be telling the coach, go for 2. I hear what you're saying, but on the sideline, the team going to, because trust me, it ain't going to be loud, but somebody going to be like, hey, man, we need to go for 2.
Here's the deal. I don't disagree, but he had to keep kicking.
Oh, yeah.
And he made the last one. I think when you ask me how I would handle it, I think for me, you got to get some individual additional practice in this week, right? Going through his mechanics, reminding him mentally that, like, you that dude, dog, we know this is not a lack of ability.
Yeah.
Whatever is in your head. And Queen Bella said he was 6 for 6 at practice this week. My unconventional answer would have been to hog tie him, kidnap him, take him out to the star, give him a nice half of an edible, and be like, bro, go kick this damn ball.
Yeah.
And keep kicking it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think sometimes you got to get out of your head. We know the man can make the kicks.
Yeah.
I just think the Washington game was so bad. I think that motivated the team to like lock in and say, look, if we come out here like this next week, our asses are grass. But I think they did the right thing. You got to let them keep kicking. If the game had been close, they would have been like, pull them,
Yeah, exactly.
I think they did the right thing.
I probably wouldn't have brought nobody in.
Me either.
I probably, I wouldn't, like I might have stopped him from kicking that day, but I wouldn't have brought nobody in this week. You know what I mean?
Me either.
We would have got
them the scrubs left.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we would have he would still be my kicker, you know what I mean? But like that day, we're just gonna do what's best for the team that day. You know what I mean?
I agree. I definitely agree with all of that stuff. And for me, even this week, if in the first quarter we gotta kick a field goal, all right, Brett, you got a shot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You got your shot. If you miss it, we're going for it on 4th down.
You know what? To your point, against the Niners, 4 points could be win-lose.
Yeah.
And so I think as the stakes get higher, the tolerance gets lower.
Thank you.
Definitely. So I'm going to give you guys one key to victory. So when you guys get one key to victory, for the Cowboys to beat the 49ers, because this is a Cowboys show. So if there's 49ers people out there waiting for 49ers key, you're going to be waiting all night because you ain't getting it. So I'm going to start with AD. Like, what's one key to victory for the Cowboys?
Well, you know, I can't just give one. I'm gonna give two. And first of all, I'm gonna say this. You know, with me being a defensive player, you know, like you said earlier, defense wins championships with quarterbacks winning the Super Bowls. All right, so defense is gonna have to come out. They're gonna have to play a lights out game. You know what I mean? That's gonna be number one. But then the biggest key is gonna be, like we talked about earlier, Kellen Moore coming out, calling the game better than he called last week. You know, and being creative enough. And the Cowboys playing the same type of way they played on offense last week. That's Kellen Moore is really the biggest key to this game, I believe, for the Cowboys.
Gotcha.
My answer?
Yeah.
Dak Prescott. Period. He needs to come out and play just as loose, just as focused. And he got to trust his instincts at the line. Because I think that made the difference in how dominant we looked. It's so funny because the offensive coordinator gets credit even if it wasn't the original play call. And so they talk about, you know, I don't pay a ton of attention to what kind of defense they're playing, but I will tell you, I remember when Quincy Carter was taking snaps under center for my team. Dak Prescott is not that. He reads quick. He's feeling good. I need him to be at his best, both mentally and physically, when they hit that field, because he has proven time and time again that he can will that team to a victory. And I think the first two series in Tampa, I was like, oh, dang, they look a little nervous, a little jumpy, but it didn't look like they were making mistakes or people was running the wrong routes and everybody was confused, throwing their hands up. It just looked like, okay, we need to settle in. And so I would like for us to get to that clip before the third or fourth series in this game. I want Dak to get in a rhythm, make some of those first quick, easy throws, and just trust his instincts and get loose and not be afraid to get outside the pocket, run when he needs to. I think if Dak plays the way he played in Tampa, we coming home with the dub.
My guy Tavis Banks, shout out for the super chat. Says Dak versus Zone D is my key. He's the best and the worst. I don't know about the worst part, but you know, maybe the worst part being the turnovers. You know what I'm saying? But I actually think Brock Purdy is going to be more liable to turn the ball over in this game. My key is coaching. Like, just, you know, I feel like it's going to be a game of adjustments throughout, and whichever coaching staff makes the most adjustments at the right time is going to be the team that wins. I see it being a close game throughout, and the fourth quarter being what separates both of these teams. I think Dak is more equipped than Brock Purdy, and like you said, AD, I think at some point the moment's going to be too big. So to kind of, you know, bring both of your points together, Dak can play so big that he can make Purdy small. Ooh. And I don't think that Purdy can do that to Dak. You know what I'm saying? He can play well, but I don't think he can play well enough to make Dak look small. So if Dak and the coaching staff can put together a good plan, execute it, this team is on its way. So I'm gonna go ahead. What's up, Dia?
Micah Parsons, I think, is going to be also critically important. The defense carried us those first two possessions.
They did.
And I think Micah brings, you know, the ferocious energy, right, that is necessary. And I think he is hard to contain when he is lights out. They got him on the edge. What the hell was they doing when they put Van Der Esch on it? But anyway, I digress. My point is, Micah Parsons is going to be a different kind of threat that Brock Purdy has not yet seen. He's Agreed. A hard guy to account for, whether he coming off the edge in space. I mean, there's a million things that he can do that I think are going to make the Niners quarterback very uncomfortable. And
they haven't seen him. They have not seen a Micah.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. So I think we have some opportunity here.
Mm. The Niners do have one of the best tackles in the NFL, though.
They do.
So
they do.
That being said, I mean it's but like they only got one of the best tackles, and so Michael can play from either side, and we got two pass rushes over here between him and D Law that yeah, they can still go down.
And they got some rushers on their side too. Bosa and how
Oh,
we handle Bosa is going to be a big. That's going to be big. Yeah, definitely for sure, especially this week. So the young boy Tyler, you have to put your big britches on this week, sir. You're gonna have to.
I'm gonna tell you, I ain't gonna take no Tyler slander because
no.
that boy done had a hell of a rookie season.
Yeah, Bosa is truly a different beast.
He is.
Yeah,
he is. But I'm just saying.
Yeah. So
it ain't too many veterans who can tackle Bosa.
No.
But Tyler Smith has had one hell of a rookie season, y'all. He been asked to do stuff very few rookies in the league have been asked to do, and I think he's done an admirable job.
Yeah. No, it's gonna come down to some real football playing at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And that's why it's looking like the old school games. No matter, they had a whole type of different offense back then and everything else like that. It wasn't a spread out. They didn't have as many receivers. But at the end of the day, you see this game being an old school game played on grass. Everybody gonna be dirty after the game. You know what I mean? You get that feel from it already.
That schoolyard scrap.
Exactly.
All right, so I'm going to ask you guys your score predictions.
Oh, AD goes first.
I say 24-21. Cowboys.
I think the score is actually going to be higher than that. I'm actually going to go, I think it's probably going to be something like 27. I mean, I think the Cowboys are going to win, but it's going to be tight. I think it's 27-24. I do think the Cowboys have potential to win this game, but I worry that the defense is so much better than on like San Francisco than Tampa Bay. But I still feel like the Cowboys could potentially win by a full score. So, yeah, I think the Cowboys score between 27 and 30 points. I don't see the Niners going past 21. So let's say 27-21 Cowboys.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of time management going on in this game. The game is not going. There's not going to be that many possessions. I don't see Cowboys having as many possessions as they had last week. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's definitely going to be a tight game either way.
I will give you my wild prediction. I think the defense scores 7 or 6.
Gotcha.
I think the defense is going to get at least one pick six, and I would love to see a strip sack fumble as the Niners' final possession.
It's definitely doable. It's definitely doable with some of the things that I was able to break down in my film session yesterday. Shout out to Tavis for the super chat. This will be an experience for Tyler, whether we win or lose. Yeah, I agree with that, and I think that this experience is going to put him on his way. Like, I think that it'll make him a Pro Bowler moving forward, whether we win or lose. He's going to learn. So I agree with that. My prediction, I agree with you guys, but I also think there will be a point in this game where both of these teams will make some adjustments and they'll figure each other offensively, and it'll end up kind of being not necessarily a track meet later, but I think you said there'll be low possessions, but I think there'll be scoring possessions. And I see it being, I got a 31-27, Dak Prescott taking them down the field to score the game-winning touchdown.
My blood pressure can't take that.
I think it's going to be a point where, like we're talking about the field goals, right? So they're going to be obviously down 3, and it's like, all right, they're in field goal range.
That's
but
fair.
Dak is going to score that touchdown, and Purdy's going to have the ball last.
Oh, man.
No.
I want that kind of game, but I don't want that kind of game. You know what I mean? Like,
we need to have the ball last, okay?
Yeah.
In Dak we trust.
But yeah, I appreciate y'all for joining the show, man. 80, I know it was the last, minute thing. We've been conversing back and forth, but I appreciate you joining. Dia, always a pleasure. Can you guys plug everybody and let them know where they can find you, social media, or, your work?
Go ahead,
Oh, that's what I'm supposed to. I'm just Dia Wall on Twitter. Yeah, you can follow me. Yeah. I be, out in the streets. I tweet a lot of Cowboys, so everybody in Kansas City already know what it is. Yeah, but no, live in KC. I think I'm gonna try to put together some sort of meetup. If any of y'all are pulling up for the draft, I will be working.
I'm definitely pulling up for the draft. Yeah,
man, let me know, man. It should be a really, really fun weekend. So I would love to meet folks and shake hands. I'm a woman from the South, hug a few necks and just say what's up, man.
Cool. And you guys can follow me. I'm easy. I'm Dorsett Jr. on Twitter and at Anthony.Dorsett Jr. on Instagram. And so that's it. I'm easy to find.
I appreciate y'all, man. And thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I'm going to put on the outro video, guys. And we are out. You guys have been amazing tonight. Everybody's been amazing. It's been a top tier show tonight. The last couple of nights we've been rocking out. So I appreciate everybody for stopping by. And we're out.
I can't feel the pain, I'm numb to all you say. To keep it real and stay 100 through the rain. I can feel there's something missing from your face. So keep it real and stay 100 in your veins. Put me in these boxes, still I'm trying to break away. I just roll it up and down some liquor for my pain. Thoughts inside my head, it's nightmares instead of some dreams. I've been trying to hold on to everything from the seams. Try to get it by any means. There's no accepting defeat with all this pressure that's on me. Trusting whenever I breathe, cause everything is on me. If everybody is down, I gotta pick up all the pieces. Yeah, I can't fall, cause I do it for my dog, so she can make it fall. Ain't worry about your comments, cause I believe in karma. No time for your bullshit or any petty drama. Yeah.